Bruno Guimaraes to Arsenal transfer delay has been explained by Fabrizio Romano, a man that we all trust so much when it comes to business like this, and he's none other than Fabrizio Romano. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as don't miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name, and hope you guys are really having pure fun wherever you're watching us from. Continue to subscribe because we want to hit how many subscribers? We want to hit 30,000 subscribers, and as by now we are left with 24 subscribers to hit 29,800 subscribers. So please go ahead and do the needful and subscribe, and then the rest will be history in here onto a beautiful channel known as the Rokani Media Football. So we are talking Bruno Guimaraes, we are talking Randall Muani. You get? So let's obviously head to the start of this. Now, Fabrizio Romano first told us the following about the deal of Bruno Guimaraes to Newcastle. Arsenal in direct talks again today with Newcastle to close Bruno Guimaraes' deal. Bruno Guimaraes waiting for green light to travel for medical and contract signing as soon as deal is completed. Arsenal maintain total confidence. So, Arsenal again this weekend were in direct contacts with Newcastle to close Bruno Guimaraes' deal. And Bruno Guimaraes knows to it that everything is done and dusted, is waiting for green light to travel for medical and contract signing as soon as deal is completed. So he's waiting for the completion of the deal between Arsenal and a team known as Arsenal. To see to it that he says goodbye to the side of Newcastle and put in a very huge shift in there for you. So that is Bruno Guimaraes for you. And that is Fabrizio Romano telling us about Bruno Guimaraes, a man that is hugely wanted and demanded by Mikel Arteta at the club of Arsenal. Looks like it's one of the hugest tasks that Arteta has gone ahead to obviously give to the sporting director known as Andre Bartha, that please, you have to deliver this man at Soboha Reality Training Center. And indeed, Arsenal are working tooth and forth to see to it that they get in this man, because they know how important it is to have him into their team. And that is Bruno Guimaraes for you. And that is what we first got from Fabrizio Romano. Secondly, we went ahead and obviously got another big story about Fabrizio Romano. He told us the following, that Newcastle have started plans to bring in a new midfielder with new coach Matthias Jessel involved, as Bruno Guimaraes is expected to become Arsenal player shortly. You understand? So he told us that Newcastle, right, have started plans to bring in a new midfielder with new coach, as Bruno Guimaraes is expected to join Arsenal shortly. So the fact is, what is delaying the deal of Bruno Guimaraes to join the club of Arsenal is that Newcastle want to first get in the replacement of Bruno Guimaraes. That is it. That's what is delaying this deal. And let no one lie to you that it's not yet done. It's done, but Newcastle went ahead to obviously beg the side of Arsenal that please, let's first get in a replacement of this guy. And this is exactly what is happening in the deal of a player called Yan Diomande. Yan Diomande, yesterday, he was not part of the RB Leipzig team, that played, because they knew to it that they had to let him go, but they have to first find a replacement for Yan Diomande. So that's why the club is like, we haven't gone ahead to obviously get anywhere near, and they're like, we are not getting this out of our way until we find the replacement for the player. So even Newcastle have told Arsenal, please, let's first get in the replacement of Bruno Guimaraes, and after getting in the replacement of Bruno Guimaraes, we'll let everything go on as planned. So that's exactly what we have right about now on the deal of Bruno Guimaraes in there for you. So what is delaying this deal, obviously, is all about Bruno Guimaraes' replacement at Newcastle. And now, to show you that it's indeed what is holding this deal, earlier today, we got two stories of two players that they feel they can choose one to obviously come in through and replace Bruno Guimaraes. This is Cronsile Newcastle FC. A very good source from Newcastle have told us that Newcastle are actively looking for new midfield options, with Bruno Guimaraes continually linked with the move to Arsenal. Reports this morning suggest Matthias Giselle is involved in that search, with his confirmation as head coach expected soon. Of course, Newcastle United will have been planning for all contingencies, so it should come as no big surprise, with Brazilian Danilo heavily linked with Newcastle all summer. He's set to leave Botafogo this summer, with a return to Europe said to be preferred. So Newcastle are looking at Danilo, and they're like, Danilo might be the right replacement for Bruno Guimaraes, and we want him in. So that is one of the players they really want him through. Danilo was once wanted by Arsenal, especially when Edu was here, but he ended up at a side known as Nottingham Forest. Now, after ending up at Nottingham Forest, he went ahead to obviously put out a very beautiful performance in there for you. And after putting in a very beautiful performance, the main man known as who was the main man in there for you? Who was like, he's not really good. 2 seasons in the Premier League failed, and then he went back to Brazil. And when he went back to Brazil in Botafogo, he really rediscovered himself. That's why it was very easy to see him even be considered in the World Cup team for Brazil. So that is the man himself known as Danilo, a man that has gone ahead to obviously have all the attributes of Bruno Guimaraes, the power, the drive. Though for him, he's really left-footed, and he's more of a box-to-box midfielder, and not really bad. You understand? He can really do the needful. When you see to it that he's in conversations of teams like Manchester United and so on and so forth, you really understand that there is something good that he's doing in there for you. And doubling up at the World Cup also speaks volumes as to why he's wanted by these teams. So Newcastle is in for him. The other one is a player, I think he plays for FC Porto, and he goes by the names of Victor Froholdit, and they've told us Newcastle United has conditioned the delay of the official announcement of Bruno Guimaraes' transfer to Arsenal until the signing of Victor Froholdit from FC Porto as his replacement is completed to avoid price increases. Obviously, I've told you the reason as to why clubs obviously hold on to the announcement of the departure of certain players, because they know that you've gone ahead obviously calling for close to 90 million euros for Bruno Guimaraes, and this club will be like, all right, why are you selling a player at 90 million euros and you're not willing to obviously get us the amount of money that you want? And Newcastle is a team that can obviously get this deal done at like 30, 40 million euros to get this player in, and they'll be having their profit working with it all the way to the bank. So you've gotten to know the reason as to why this deal has been put on hold. I'm talking about the deal of Bruno Guimaraes to the club of Arsenal in there for you. So Bruno Guimaraes delay has been explained. Newcastle want to bring in a replacement for Bruno Guimaraes. That's it. Hope you really understand. And what is common about these two players they're looking at, they are all left-footed, meaning that they need a left-footed midfielder into their team. And who are we talking about? We are talking about a team known as Newcastle United. Now, Juventus have confirmed the signing of Kolo Muani. This time round, it's known on loan from a side known as PSG. This time round, it's now a permanent deal. And finally, they've gone ahead to obviously get their man. Now, Kolo Muani signs in as new Juventus player from Paris Saint-Germain. 38 million euros fixed fee, plus 12 million euros of add-ons, 3.2 million agent fee, and 5-year deal for Kolo. Juventus statement confirms. Now, Kolo Muani, I have a friend of mine, he's called Hanks. He went ahead to obviously hit Kolo Muani for what he did in the World Cup final of 2022. right? 2022 when he missed that sitter, you understand? And I want Kolo Muani when he was leaving Frankfurt to join a team known as PSG. I was like, if I'm Randall Kolo Muani, I wouldn't be going to PSG. You know, you look at a side that has a star-studded team. Because by that time, I think, even Kylian Mbappe was at PSG. When did Mbappe? Let's see. When did Mbappe leave PSG? Because 2022, that's when Kolo Muani on the September 2nd, 2023, that's when Kolo Muani left for that side. And that season when he was going to PSG, Kylian Mbappe was there, you know, and I was like, what is this boy doing? What was this boy doing? You know, footballers end up making big mistakes and they realize them later. You understand? From Frankfurt, he was on fire. He was really scoring very many goals, you get? And for Frankfurt, they sold him for 75 million euros. You understand? And add-ons were 20 million euros. So they wanted 100 million euros. You get? He would have gone ahead to get a better team. You understand? Because very many teams are interested in him on PSG, but he ended up choosing that side. And I was like, he has gone ahead, obviously, make a very big mistake. But he's a very good player. I really like how he plays the ball. Loaned at Juventus, then loaned to Tottenham Hotspur. Now Juventus have gone ahead to sign him a permanent deal. And that means PSG have gone ahead to make a very huge loss, because if you bought in a player for 75 million euros and you're getting 35 million euros or guaranteed, that means you're in the loss of 40 million euros. You understand? So we wait and see how things really pan out for Kolo Muani at the side of Juventus. But we wish him the best of luck as a player. And that is it for our you in here. So your thoughts onto Bruno Guimaraes to Arsenal transfer delay are welcome in the comment section below. And do you think Kolo Muani will shine at Juventus under Luciano Spalletti? We out.